Happy Migraine Awareness Month, everyone. So many interesting people that we've met through Thriving with Migraine, a lot of them very creative people. We have another one with us today. Tanya, hi, how are you?
Hello, I'm well. How are you?
I am very well. I'm very excited to hear about what it is that you do. You work in music, is that right?
I do. Yes, I'm a musician, which is a lot of fun. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. When
Yeah.
you say musician, are you one of those musicians that can pretty much play any instrument?
I'm not. I know. I really wish I was one of those. My partner is one of those, so he comes in
Yeah.
handy a lot. But no, I'm mainly guitar, dabble in piano, and singing is my main thing. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And you actually work in the music industry?
I do, yeah. So my main just music, tour quite a bit. Currently working on my second album. Yeah. So
What kind of music? What genre?
um oh,
Are
oh
you
I like to cross them a lot,
okay? Let's make it more
Indie
simple.
rock.
Your next album, the one you're currently working on, where does that fit in the musical world?
It's quite folky and like the singer-songwriter elements, but then has a lot of indie dream. But yeah, look, I'm terrible at explaining it. It's just one of those things you got to listen to and have a good time with. Yeah.
Okay, what's your favorite song?
In the world.
Yes, in the world. Yes, you can only
I
have
mean,
one.
it's an impossible question, but a song that always brings joy to my heart is Benny and the Jets by Elton John.
Okay, you can stay. I'll let you. That's an excellent song. So I used to be a radio announcer, right? So I actually think there's quite a lot of significance in people's favorite songs.
Yeah.
And the other one I do is, what's your favorite Beatles song? Because everybody has a favorite Beatles song, and it says so much about your personality.
I love Eleanor Rigby. I feel like the visual in it is great. I don't know. I've always loved Eleanor Rigby. Yeah.
And has music always been a very big part of your life?
Yeah, my dad's a singer and I grew up falling asleep on pub couches whilst he was performing. So yeah, back in the day.
Slightly different story when they, didn't frown on such things. Yes.
Yeah.
When you could actually take your kids to the pub. Yeah, I remember. All right, let's talk a little bit about your migraine. When did you start getting attacks and what kind of symptoms do you get?
I suffer from vestibular migraine. So I started getting vertigo first. And it was maybe about 4 years ago I started getting vertigo. And I just had a terrible doctor at the time that would laugh at me, give me like really just was like, here's some Stemetal, bye. And then it just got worse and worse and worse. And it kind of spiraled and I started getting really severe Alice in Wonderland symptoms. And that's what's still one of my biggest problems. I don't get it as much anymore, but that was the worst when I started getting them.
For those who aren't familiar, Alice in Wonderland syndrome is actually this really bizarre thing where you lose perception of everything and big things seem small and small things seem big. It's really weird. I've had it probably twice in my life, both during very big attacks, and each time I'm kind of like, what is my hand doing? It's weird, very, very weird.
I always explain it as just being like stuck in the world's worst acid trip, which I guess is what Alice in Wonderland is. So hence why it's called that. And I think I got stuck in that for about the 4 months, nonstop. Because I got given like a drug to try, like Migraine. It was terrible for me. And that really exacerbated those symptoms. And my dreams were more like real than reality. And I couldn't work out what was real or not. So that was just awful. That's probably my biggest one. I suffer from nausea pretty horrifically. I used to get it every single day, but I've started some new medication in the past 8 months or so, and that's really, really helped with nausea. I get the head swelling. My head, it's really bad today, actually. I've got very full head. The weather's really bad in Melbourne. So I think that's probably why.
And is weather one of your main triggers?
Huge. Yeah. Weather can just floor me. Like I'll be bedridden for couple of weeks if there's a big storm, which is very frustrating because I live in Melbourne. So
yeah. You're not the only person that lives in Melbourne who's kind of said, I'm triggered by weather and I live in Melbourne. there are other places you can move to. I know that's a big kind of life commitment. I get bothered by humidity, not by storms, but by humidity. And I stupidly moved to Townsville. I don't know what on earth I was thinking. So now I've moved to the Gold Coast. That's not much better. So I'm now like, I'm actually just this morning, I was sitting there and I'm like looking up the climate statistics of all these random towns in New South Wales. And I'm like, Port Macquarie looks nice. Not because it looks nice, but because the weather looks nice and stable.
Yeah.
The things that we do.
It would be the dream, absolutely. Just to live in a stable, like maybe LA is like the way to go. Just live in a place that's just this all year round.
Yeah, that's what I'm looking for, right? And if I can find that place somewhere in Australia, that'd be great. So perhaps, if some weather nerd knows, they can let us know so that, the entire migraine community can decamp and come to their town.
Together.
We'll set up a great migraine crisis center in the middle of town. We'll give each other jobs. It'll be great. It's like a little, like a kibbutz, just, for migraine people. It'd be great. Sorry, I don't know how we kind of wandered off on that. Right. Let's go back to the music. Okay, so how has migraine interacted with your music? Have you been able to keep playing?
Yes. I find after every show I play, I quite often can't leave bed for a while, which is quite devastating. And I do worry about when touring starts back up. So the pandemic was almost a blessing for me because things were getting quite bad. And I was getting really worried because I just was thinking, like, can I still do this? And, obviously I'm never going to stop. So I was trying to work with my neurologist. I was due to go to South by Southwest, actually. I was due to play South by, and I remember working with my GP and my neuro. I'm like, how on earth I was going to be able to do it? Crowds everywhere, lights, music, every sensory trigger that happens for me. And I was like terrified. So then my anxiety was sky high because I was just thinking, I've dreamed of playing South by for years and years and years. And now I just don't even know if I'll be able to do it. Like I was so scared that I would go there and I would be too unwell to play or, so it is a tough one, and especially now coming out of lockdown and stuff and getting back into it, I am a bit nervous about what that looks like and starting again almost, which is a bit tough. So I am definitely a bit nervous at the moment and seeing how that feels. We had a rehearsal the other day and I did feel pretty unwell after it, so I was quite sad. But who knows, like I'll just keep working on all the things around it, and I've got a really beautiful band and team around me that know all of my triggers and things like that, and they're really they're happy to pivot whenever needed and help assist with things. So I'm very, very lucky that I'm surrounded by people that are willing to change and help, which is really great. I wouldn't work with anyone that wasn't. I think the industry needs to become a lot more accessible in so many ways.
And not just for migraine, lots of other ways. Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah, 100%. So yeah, just one of those things at the moment of just learning what I can ask for as well, and I can ask for anything I need. That's something that I've really had to get used to, is just I don't want to stop doing this and I shouldn't have to. So it's just if I need to sit down to play a show that day, then I'm going to sit down and play the show. And people who are there, they're lucky that I'm there, so we're all lucky we're there really at this stage. So that's kind of just the way I'm looking at it, and I'm just grateful that I can still play and sing, and that's great. So I'll just take it day by day and step by step and keep creating, because I can create, I can still write all the time. So I'll take live shows as they go, and I'll put up any rules that I need. I can't have any strobe lights and things like that, and that's cool because we get to think outside the box and design these whole lighting shows that are awesome, because I've got this condition that allows me to think a bit differently, because I can't do the normal things, which is awesome. I do, I'm pretty grateful for that, in a sense of I get to do it a little bit differently, and there's definitely challenges, but that's all right.
Seeing the bright side and the wins in migraine, getting to do things a bit differently.
Yeah,
absolutely. All right,
every day, yeah.
So what would be your top tip for anyone perhaps struggling with vestibular migraine, or perhaps another creative person like you living with migraine? What would you say to them?
Sleep. Like, make sure you get your rest. Like, you know, when you're thinking about staying out and partying with everyone, but you've got a show the next day, like, you know, shows back to back, don't do it. Like, you know, and it's hard because you feel like you're missing out on a opportunity to hang with everyone, but they come up again, you know, like, and I think sleep is the number one thing that keeps you going and makes you, you know, stop you know, an attack. And also carry peppermint oil everywhere with you, and a little medicine. I've got my little medicine bag. It's little, but it's got everything in it that can just help me get through, which is, you know, a savior. So and talk to people. I think the biggest thing that I did that helped me was get a psychologist really early on, and go through that, like, grieving of like my past self, you know, and really embodying like who I am now and what I can learn from that and what I can still do and what are the new things that I can do now. And yeah, I think that they're just things that are super important. And ask for help.
Fabulous.
Always ask for help when you need it. Don't be afraid to ask for help. You're not a burden on anyone. Like, you know, all your friends want to help you in any way they can.
And they can't help you if you don't ask.
Exactly. Yeah.
Absolutely.
People aren't mind readers. Yeah.
Thank you so much for talking to us today, Tanya, and happy Migraine Awareness Month.
Thank you for having me.